And welcome back to another episode. We're so glad to have you as always. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we have a very special episode and we're going to be talking about installing a PPF kit on our Tesla Model Y. So hopefully you'll stick around till the end of the video and see how it goes. See if this is a great opportunity for you to also save some money. And I've also got a discount for you available. Whether you're new to the channel or you've been stopping by from time to time, we'd really love to have you stick around with us. Please consider subscribing to the channel. We'd love to have you. So PPF is a paint protection film, and it's an actual physical barrier that you're going to put on the car. There are other options out there like ceramic coat, which we've also installed on the car. But the difference is a PPF is a physical barrier that's going to stop the paint from being scratched or being damaged from things like rock chips and road debris that could kick up. Now, it's not perfect, however, it is the best protection you can put on your vehicle. There are many options out there. XPEL and 3M are two of the largest available today. They both have their own unique properties, but they're very similar in what they do. Today we'll be installing a 3M product, and the 3M option comes under the Scotchgard brand, and it comes in two different models. It comes in a Pro Series and a Standard Series. Today we'll be installing the Pro Series. Now on this channel I have hinted at the potential of getting this PPF install done, and I'm happy to report it is now done. I was fortunate in coming across a company that sells PPF kits for the Tesla Model Y, and they do it all through eBay. North Tints is the company, and they are very good to work with. They sell all their products through eBay and service many makes and models. But most notably, the Tesla Model Y is now on that list. They sell different various kits, and each kit comes with different levels of protection. So for example, they sell just the bumper cover. They also sell covers for the doors. Today we're going to be installing their kit that covers the entire front of the car. So it's going to cover the bumper, the headlights, parts of the fenders, and part of the hood. It also comes with mirror covers, but it's a very challenging install, and I went ahead and skipped that on this one. Because PPF provides such a great level of protection and it's a very popular option, prices vary widely. I've seen online quotes as high as $7,000 and $8,000 to fully wrap your car. But it also brings to light one of the things that I've noticed since owning our Tesla Model Y, and that's the Tesla tax. There's a company here locally in Indiana that services many makes and models, and to get what we're doing today, that costs just shy of $1,000 for any make and model. Now, if you want to do that on a Tesla, that'll be over $1,700. That's called a Tesla tax. Now, yes, there is more material involved because there's not a grill in the middle of the bumper, but still, you get my point. And with this same company, if you want to wrap the entire car, it's $5,200. So again, I've seen prices anywhere from $5,200 all the way up to $7,000 or $8,000. And doing just the front end is almost $2,000. Now I'll get into more details and you'll start to understand why they charge so much very soon. At the end of the day, I want to protect our vehicle, and having owned this car for almost 10,000 miles, which is absolutely crazy, one of the things that we've noticed with my wife's highway commute, the front end of this car is taking a lot of beating. And a lot of that has to do with the shape of it. You see, in most cars, there's a big grille front and center in the car, and it's made of plastic, and it doesn't scratch or damage anything like a painted surface does. But when you look at the front end of any Tesla, for that matter, it's mostly a flat, painted surface. That's not an ideal setup to protect the paint or the front end of the car from a lot of the things that happen on the highway. So with a Tesla, I think the consideration for something like a PPF is probably higher. And today, I've decided to take the plunge and go ahead and try to do it myself. I would like to make it extremely clear right now, I am not being paid to do this review. I was not given this product for free. I, in fact, reached out to the company, and after making my order, I asked them if I could get maybe a discount code for my viewers and subscribers, which they obliged. So if you follow the link in the description, you're going to be able to save 10% on top of their normal price on eBay, which is a really great deal for you. So like I said, this 3M product comes in two packages. You can either get the Standard Series or the Pro Series. The Standard Series is about $248, and the Pro Series is $288. Add in that 10% discount code and you can see it's a pretty cost-effective solution. Now the difference between the two is really boils down to what the material is made out of. The self-healing properties in the Pro Series are just a little bit better than the Standard Series. The Standard is still a good product, but what happens is the self-healing properties in the Pro Series, when say a rock hits or drags across the material, it acts somewhat like memory foam, where after it's deformed under heat and time, it can start to reshape into its original position. Those self-healing properties help to add to the longevity of the product. I highly recommend considering making that additional $40 investment and going with the Pro Series. And if I'm not mistaken, the discount I was able to secure for you is for the Pro Series anyways. Like I said, you can also get just the bumper, and it's about $140 on eBay through North Tints as well. Now, I'm not a professional. I've never installed a PPF before. I've also never installed a wrap on any vehicle, so this is going to be a first time for me. And I have to admit, I did mess up pretty bad. So the good thing is I spent my money and my time trying to do this to now share that with you. So you can try this on your own if you feel like you're able to, and perhaps avoid some of the pitfalls that I unfortunately fell into. So the first tip I have for you, do the bumper last. Unfortunately, I went with the bumper first, thinking that's the one I most want on there, so let's get that done now. It was a disaster. I messed it up pretty bad, and ultimately went back and pulled it all off after 4.5 hours of trying to install it. For this install, I want to be fully transparent. This is not an easy install. As a matter of fact, this is a solid 4 out of 5. Additionally, on the Wi-Fi scale, this is a solid 4 out of 5 there too. No, honey, an hour, maybe an hour and a half. With that said, I would dedicate an entire afternoon to this just to be prepared. You are going to be spending a good amount of time to get this done correctly. That doesn't mean it's impossible. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to have experience working on cars, but you need to be pretty handy and be able to figure things out on the go. You need to be able to work fast with this product too. What I noticed is the faster you can work, the better the material will move around, because as you start to dry that material out, it starts to stick. So you want to be able to move quick and with intent. So don't be afraid of it. Also, you don't want to stretch the material. The more you stretch it, the harder it is to get this to lay flat. What you'll notice on my final product is it does not look like a professional install. But in my opinion, you have to really look to be able to see the imperfections. There are some bubbles and there are some fingers that I was not able to remove. And that's because I stretched the material in some areas too much. So before we go into how to do it, there are a couple of things that you need. First, you need the kit. And what's nice is the kit does come with a squeegee. And the squeegee it comes with worked perfect for this project. So you don't need to go on Amazon and buy a PPF install kit or any of those accessories. You don't need to cut this because it's already pre-cut. You are going to need two 32-ounce bottles, and those can be anything, just generic, as long as it's 32 ounces. You also need 70% isopropyl alcohol, and given the things that are going on right now, it is very difficult to get your hands on that, let me tell you. I'll put a link in the description for these items. Also, you're going to need Johnson's baby shampoo. Finally, depending on the quality of water that comes out of your tap, you may want to consider getting a gallon of distilled water. So you're going to be making two formulas with those 2 squirt bottles. One of them is a slip and one of them is a tack. So what that means is you're going to use the slip material to move the PPF around as you're installing it. And where you need it to stick while you're moving things around, you'll use the tack material. It's pretty straightforward, it's not hard to do, but here's how you're going to mix it. For the slip material, you're going to fill the bottle to 32 ounces with distilled water. And although they have a recommended guide on how much Baby Johnson shampoo to use, basically just tilt the bottle and give it a couple of squirts to get enough. Do not shake the bottle after you've done this, but simply rock it around and tilt it upside down and back up several times until it is well mixed. For the tack, you're going to fill the bottle with 8 ounces of the alcohol and fill the rest of the bottle with distilled water. So once you've gathered all your materials and you're ready to go, it's pretty simple, but you're going to want to start on the hood first. Trust me, the hood is the easiest part on this install. By starting there and working your way through all the parts and ending on the bumper, you're going to get a good feel for how this should go by the time you do the hardest part, which is the bumper. So what I recommend doing, if you're doing this by yourself and you can't get an extra set of hands, lay the layout on top of the hood. Pull the material back roughly halfway over and spray the slip solution all over the back of it. Then roll it back over and do the other half. Next, you're going to want to wet the entire surface you're about to place this on and pull that material completely off of its backing and lay it in place. You're going to want to try to slide the material around on the hood. And as long as it's moving easily, you have enough slip solution down. If it's not moving easily, just lift it up and spray more underneath. It's really important that you do this because this is the only way you're going to get this in place from the start. Try your best not to stretch the material. Okay, so now you have it aligned. What you're going to do is start in the middle and work the slip solution out from underneath with a squeegee. So once you've done about 6 inches of a band from the top of the hood to the bottom, it should be relatively staying in place. Now you can work to the outside. So what's important here is once you've worked out all the bubbles, make sure you take a really good look. Make sure you have good lighting and try to find any areas where there's air bubbles or any material that happen to get behind the PPF. This is your last chance to get it out. It's really easy to pull the material up, re-spray the slip solution, and re-squeegee it out. Now here's the thing, for the lip, you're actually going to be tucking the material underneath the hood and around. This isn't going to set flush and you're going to have what are called fingers throughout the day. It's okay. The first thing you want to do is spray that perimeter with alcohol solution. This is going to help it dry faster. Now, I recommend leaving the hood open all day and every hour or two go back through and with your finger squeeze down on those fingers. And after about 4 hours or so, it should stay in place. Okay, so now that you've completed the hood, move on to the fenders. Same process as before. You just want to get this thing lined up as well as possible. Check all the areas, check all the corners, and make sure it looks straight. After that, simply swipe it on with the squeegee and get the slip material out. When working on the hood, here is how you want to do this. You can mess this up pretty easily. Ask me how I know. Thank you to North Tints for sending me a replacement cover for the bumper after I royally messed it up. I really appreciate that. That gave me an opportunity to give it a second shot. After the first time doing this, I felt pretty confident I could figure it out this time. And as a matter of fact, if I tried a third time, I think I could almost get it perfect. As you'll see, I didn't get a perfect layout. Start on the driver's side corner where the bumper and the headlight come together by the hood. Tack this spot in place. After you have moved the bumper around and gotten that corner right where it needs to be, spray some alcohol under there to help it really stick. Squeegee that out and then make sure that it's holding well. Next, your alignment should be the tow hook hole. Make sure the material is perfectly around the tow hook cover, and that is your next alignment. Squeegee out and around that tow hook, but don't go too far. After that, you're going to follow the parking sensors all the way around the front bumper. I would start with the 2 in the middle of the bumper. Work your way all the way over to the passenger side before going back to the driver's side to get that last parking sensor. Try your best not to pull with just individual fingers, but really an even pressure to get this in place. Once you have these areas in place, the rest is going back and quickly getting to the areas that you passed over. So you're going to want to start right in the middle of the bumper at the top. I recommend doing that top lip as quickly as possible. Get all the moisture out of there. Then start on the front of the bumper. Get all the material from the top to the bottom and work your way down. You're going to leave the material hanging over the opening where your air comes in. We're going to do that last. Once you've worked your way all the way around to the sides of the bumper, all that's left now is those 2 areas underneath the fog lights. They're pretty easy to do, and I recommend just going ahead and spraying it completely with alcohol. Squeegee those in place and make sure the fitment is good. Now the final piece of this is the part that you have hanging over that air opening. This is a pretty tough area for a number of reasons, but mostly because it goes from a very flat and level surface and curves around to a vertical position. you're going to get a lot of fingers in here, and as you'll see from my install, I did not do a great job. Work carefully, work slowly, and make sure you do your best to eliminate those fingers as best as possible. So once you've put that in place, there's only one little strip left, and honestly, it's the easiest strip to do. Go ahead and spray your slick solution and put it in place. Make sure it lines up well on both sides, and then get your alcohol and tack down the passenger side. Once that's done, go over to the driver's side and do the same. And then finally, start in the middle and work your way out. So again, after you've done this for the next several hours, even the next day, I would continue to check and see where you need to push fingers down. It's going to take a while for that moisture to really get out. That's the only thing that's preventing it from really tacking and sticking on these fingers, is there's moisture trapped right there. So it's going to take a little bit for all that to completely dry up and the fingers to stay down. I do not recommend using heat. This is not like a wrap where it'll come back to its original shape. As a matter of fact, that heat really just makes it more malleable. So let's take a look at the results. As you can see, there's plenty of areas where air bubbles exist and where fingers have folded over. Right here by the parking sensor on the driver's side, totally messed that up. But you know what? At the end of the day, what I have installed has added the protection I was hoping to do. Not only did it do that, did it at a fraction of the cost of having a professional do this. My second attempt on the front bumper took about an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes to install, compared to 4.5 hours. So I did something very wrong the first time around, and that's okay. After installing this, quite honestly, from a distance, the only thing I can see is that area where it's folded over by the parking sensor. All the other areas where I've really messed up, where it's folded over fingers, it's kind of hidden underneath, more of a in the corners areas, so you can't really tell. Some of the bubbles you can kind of see, but overall, I'm really satisfied with this. After spending $288, I am beyond satisfied with how this turned out. We do a lot of highway driving, and because of that, the abuse on the front of this car is substantial. This now adds the protection we were hoping to have, and if desired, I can pull it off and replace it. After looking at the price of having a professional do this, I'm starting to understand why they charge so much, but I still would not spend the money to have a professional do this. Because again, I cannot wrap my head around that cost to do it. I could do this wrap many times over before I would even come close to the cost of having a professional do this. That said, if it makes sense for you to have a professional do this, I am in no way judging anybody for any of the decisions that they are making with their Tesla Model Y. I think that if $5,000 is peace of mind to you, then you should absolutely do it if that's in your budget. For me though, I just can't justify the cost, considering there's an alternative option that's probably good enough for me. So what did you think? Was this helpful? Does this look like something you're willing to tackle? Let me know in the comments if this is something you think you're going to do. Again, I'm not being paid for this. I'm not going to get a commission by using the link or anything like that. I was just really excited about this product because so many people talk about the cost, and it seems like half of people are excited about it and half of people are like, that's a lot of money. So this was an alternate option that some of you may consider for yourselves. I really appreciate you stopping by today and watching our video. I hope that this was helpful. This type of content provides you visibility to areas where you can save money and still get some of these products that are really important to helping extend the life of these cars. That type of value is the value that we're focused on this channel, and I hope you'll stick around with us and hit that subscribe button. And if you liked this video, please click that like button. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for stopping by, and we'll catch you next time.